In our last update, we had two main scenarios on Bitcoin. The first one was that I wanted to see a drop during or after the FOMC to hit our support level around $112,500 to then see a reversal to the upside and take out the highs at $117,300. But the second scenario was that we would take out the highs first, once again, $117,300. So take out the highs first, get a fake out, and then see a reversal to the downside. And if you go over to the charts, what happened is that we did indeed take out the highs at $117,300, and we are now seeing a reversal to the downside. So as usual, before we dive into today's price action, let me quickly recap what I personally did, which is honestly not much this week. Because if you remember, what I said was that personally, I was not very interested in trading before the FOMC, which was on Wednesday. However, the one setup that I did analyze was this one. We had an interesting support, which was an order block and a 4-hour imbalance, because once again, I wanted to see the highs at $117,300 taken out. So again, this was my support. I waited for the drop. We got it. We got the imbalance on the 30 minutes, but also on the 1 hour. So that was a very good reaction. However, as you can see, my support did get front run. So at this point, where is it? Right there. I still was not in a long position. I just waited. We came back down to tap my support level, but we didn't have a reaction yet. And after that, of course, price simply continued to the downside, which is when the FOMC started. And of course, we had extremely choppy price action. So still no trade to take, in my opinion. But when the FOMC was done, we did get a pretty big bounce, but left a lot of lows behind. And a couple of days later, the only potential setup that I analyzed was yesterday. We had 3 early imbalances on Binance, which was sign of a buying climax. If I open the chart, as you can see, we had 3 imbalances at this high. So I was looking for a short at $118,300. If we could get that move, get a reaction, I wanted to open a short position just to go with that scenario that we shared in our update to take out the highs and then see a reversal to the downside. But unfortunately, if you go over to the charts and I add back my level, which was this 4-hour imbalance, $118,300, as you can see, unfortunately, we did reverse before reaching that level. And what happened is that the buying climax on Binance, which was once again this one, ended up offering the high before that reversal to the downside. So for myself, no trades taken this week. I don't mind it. We had a pretty good week last week. And in any case, in my opinion, except this trade that I missed on Monday, which was to take out the range lows and then get a reversal, in my view, I didn't see any other trades except yesterday. Of course, I was looking for that short position, which did not play out, unfortunately. But with that said, what can you expect next? So if you go on the daily, the first thing that you will note is that we have a pretty big wick to the downside. Personally, I don't like that wick. So what you can do first is just take the midpoint of that wick, which you would expect to get filled at some point, and it comes in at $115,500. So I will mark out this level, and if you go on the 12-hour, what you will see is that we have the exact same wick, so also you could expect the fill of the midpoint of that wick. Now if you go on the 4-hour, don't have any confluence. If you go on the 1 hour, we do have a pretty interesting order block right there. So I will take this, okay, a bit of a bigger area around that order block. So pretty much around $115,600 is a first support level that we have. If you want more confluence, on the 3-day, we now have an imbalance and an order block. So if you want, you can take the open of the 3-day imbalance. So let's go on the lower time frames. You could make this area a bit smaller. Okay, so I will take from here to here. And to me, this will be my area. Okay, so once again, around $115,500. And for one final confluence, if you take the volume profile of this uptrend, we do have the point of control just above this area. So with that said, you can see that we do have a lot of confluence around this level. So if we can get a job, once again, mainly to fill the wicks on the daily and the 12-hour, but we do have a lot of other confluence, then if we get that job, get the imbalances, get the reaction, then personally, I will be interested in a long position because in my opinion, the highs are not in yet. I would love to see at least 118,300 revisited, but more importantly, if we go on the daily, at this point, I do believe that this daily imbalance will get revisited, okay? So around $121,000. So again, if you want the lower time frames, I will be mainly interested in long positions. If we do get that drop and you get a reaction, of course, this can offer a very nice long position. Now, if we lose that level, okay, then what I would love to get is, of course, that bigger drop to hit our big support level that we did outline in our last update. And once again, if we can drop before taking out these highs and we get a good reaction, then once again, you could look for that reversal to the upside. So to the downside, I have two levels. The first one comes in around $115,500. Get the drop, you get the reaction, you can open a long position. On the other hand, if you do drop and you lose that level, of course, look for $112,500 to see that reversal to the upside. One last thing I want to note here is that we have been getting a lot of swing failure patterns in this market. So if you take this high, we got a swing failure pattern and then a reversal. If you take these lows, you got a swing failure and then a reversal. Even if you take that low, swing failure, a reversal. If you take this high from yesterday, swing failure and reversal. So just a quick setup in case you want to be aware of it. Personally, for now, I don't really care about it, but if you do get it, we do get it. It would be to take the range lows. And if we do get another swing failure pattern, then this could also offer a long position. But in my opinion, the much bigger supports will be, I remove this, it will simply be these two levels, okay? So this one and this one. Now with that set to the upside, if price moves up first, before filling the wicks on the daily and the 12-hour, then still we could look for two short positions. The first one will be around $118,200. So if you move up first, then of course we would have that confluence to the downside to fill the wick on the daily. And finally, the much bigger resistance and target to the upside is the midpoint of that daily imbalance around $121,000. So if you get the move up, the rejection, then you can look for a reversal to the downside. So with that said, today, as you can see, we don't have one very strong support and scenario as we usually do. Usually, as you know, I just give one scenario which does play out very well. However, in this market, it has been a bit choppy. I simply don't have, I have to be honest, I don't have the best read on the market. So I prefer to outline a couple of levels to the downside and to the upside and just wait to see what happens. But if you want my expectations, I do believe that we will drop first, okay, to hit some liquidity. Do we get that bigger drop? For now, I'm not expecting it. So if you're interested in what my favorite scenario is, it would be this one. If you're on the lower time frames, it would be just to get that drop to hit that support. And then you can see if we get the reactions for reversal to the upside and get the fill of the 4-hour imbalance at $118,200. And after that, we can see, do we get a rejection or do we see a reversal to the upside? Okay, so for myself, this would be my expectations and my favorite scenario. However, I do want you to be aware of all of the different levels that I outlined. To the downside, $112,500. To the upside, 118.2, $121,000. And finally, not my favorite setup at all, but the way the market has been moving, you could look for it if it does play out. Just take out these lows and then reverse to the upside. But personally, as you can see, I'm removing this level because I'm not really expecting it to play out. So with all of this in mind, as usual, if you guys enjoyed this update, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.